A Fitness Today presents the AFT International Sports and Fitness Festival at Port Panthers, November 4th and 5th. There are health talks, youth activities, a bazaar, a walk for good, and lots more. Entry is free. For more details, go to sportsfitnessfestival.com.
Good morning, Australia, New Zealand, the world. Selamat datang to our Malaysian and Asian counterparts as well. Okay, so today's session is on health and wellness insights that could change your life. It's going to be a very interactive session, so even if you're virtually, please use your chat button to have a big spiel about your health. Okay, so raise your hands if you feel a bit confused by the conflicting messages that you're getting on how to lose weight, how much to drink, how much to sleep. There's so much noise out there, it gets really confusing. So as a pharmacist, I see this confusion every day. And people still don't know what to do. Okay? So I have created a toolbox of 24 strategies that I've learned from my patients and clients. And I'm going to share with you 3 of the top insights that's going to make a big difference to your health. So these are foundational. So you need these 3 insights to actually have a healthy body, to have healthy aging, and also to function to your optimal capacity. Okay? So before I actually dive into these 3 insights, just let me give you a bit of an introduction to my background. So I grew up in Malaysia, and I have a family history of type 2 diabetes. So my grandfathers on my dad's side and my mom's side both had type 2 diabetes, as well as complications from type 2 diabetes. So on my dad's side, he suffered, unfortunately, a stroke, which is a common consequence of type 2 diabetes. And on my mom's side, my grandfather had a cut that was so infected that he had to have his legs amputated. It's really challenging, isn't it, to see your friends, family, and loved ones having to go through that journey. Somebody so invincible, your superhero that you look up to, now have to go through a vulnerable time of illness and mortality. This made me reflect on my own health and also on my loved ones and the people around me. Because I believe that if my grandfathers had the same information that we have today, their lives could have been quite different. Okay? Unfortunately, the continuum of disease is real, and there's a time when there's a point of no return where you get irreversible damage. But today, today's talk is a sign of hope, and we're going to go through the 3 strategies. That's why my mission today is to find 10,000 individuals who are interested to do preventive health. People ask me, why 10,000? Because it's a SMART goal. If I can actually find 1,000 person for 10 years, I should be able to achieve that quite soon. So why are we doing all this? It's all about family. It's all about stepping up. Because what we're doing today, you are role modeling to your family and friends. And a rising tide lifts all ships. So you all want to have a happy and healthy life. And when you're happy and healthy, those around you will be happy and healthy as well. Okay? It's important to note that I'm not a medical doctor, but what I do as a pharmacist and a health coach supports the services of a medical practice. But please get your own medical advice and treatment because it shouldn't replace that. So always consult your medical practitioner for advice and medical treatment. So today's session is going to be very interactive. So all of you should have a handout. It's called your health questionnaire, Know Your Numbers. Okay? So the first question, and don't worry, I won't be collecting the data. So the aim of this questionnaire is for you to reflect on your own baseline. So we have a good starting point together. So the first question is about your overall health. So on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your overall health today. Okay? So 1 is not so good, and 10 is excellent. Okay, I'll give you some time. Grab your piece of paper and your pen. Okay, the next one's quite interesting. What's your waist circumference? I managed to get some sponsorship, and I got y'all one of these waist measurers. Okay, does anybody know how to measure their waist? There is a standardized way. Okay, I quickly teach you. So what you do is the first point, you find the bottom of your ribs. Okay, so you got your lungs, you find your ribs, yes. And the second point is the beginning of your hip joint. Okay, so hip joint here, and your excellent. So in between is where we normally get you to actually measure your waist circumference. Okay, so this is a good number to know because it's your baseline. It tells us, how much abdominal fat you've got. And abdominal fat is correlated to heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. Okay, so for women, we want it to be less than 80 centimeters. And for men, if you're Caucasian, it's 94 centimeters. And if you're from a Southeast Asian background, you want your waist circumference to be less than 90 centimeters. Okay, you have that in your questionnaire as well. Okay, the third one is quite a quirky one. How much protein do you consume daily? In fact, does anybody know what protein is? Yep. So carbs, it's our starches and non-starchy vegetables. And then you've got your fat, your oils and your butters. But it's the protein that's our building block. And we'll do a double click on that a little bit later. So the recommendation is about 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram per day. Okay. Fourth question, we're nearly there. How many glasses of water do you drink daily? And that doesn't include coffee or tea because it's a diuretic and makes you pee. Okay. And number 5, how many hours of sleep do you typically get? Okay. So these are a good starting point. It's your first layer, your foundational, that if you get that right, then we can stack up more of the advanced strategies to optimize your health. Okay? All right. So I've explained that. Okay. All right. So let's just double click on protein. You should be able to see the screen at the top. Can you all see the screen at the top? And for you at home, it should be on your screens in front of you. Okay. That's about 20 amino acids, which is the building block of protein. 9 are essential, meaning that our body can't make it, and we actually require to get it from our diet. As we grow older, we are less efficient in making protein, and that's why it's so important to get enough protein and to prioritize your protein. Okay? So what is protein? If you were a car, if your body was a car, carbohydrates is the fuel. Okay? Fat is your stored petrol, and protein is the car itself. It's the building block that's required to make your cells, your immune cells, your stomach cells. Your collagen is a type of protein. So you want to look and feel good, you need protein. For your hair, your skin, and your nails, you also need protein to make enzymes. And why do we need enzymes? You've got hundreds of biochemical reactions in the body, and enzymes is your shortcut protein that quick starts everything. Some of our hormones are made of protein, like insulin, and of course your muscle. So the secret with the muscle is that it's the biggest utilizer of sugar. So every time we actually move our muscles, it draws the sugar from the blood. So there's less damage in the blood because the blood flows everything around the body, so less damage to your vital organs. How cool is that? Okay. Any questions so far about protein? Okay. All right. Okay. So where are we getting protein from? Unfortunately, most of the world, if you look at this pie chart, 38.4% are from processed or ultra-processed food. So things like fast food and cereal, okay? Ideally, we want to get our protein from clean and whole sources like your meat, so that's your lamb and your beef and your pork, as well as eggs and dairy. So as you can see, we are mostly getting our protein from poor quality sources, okay? And we know how important protein is. So how much protein do you require? So if you look on the right-hand side, this is from the Commonwealth Scientific Research Australian body, and the recommendation is 1.2 grams to 1.6 grams per kilogram according to your body weight. So the research shows for hunger management, because protein makes you feel full, and if you're trying to shift stubborn weight, one strategy is to prioritize protein. So to generate enough muscle, you need about 25. It's a bit of feedback. So that's about 25 to 30 grams to actually build muscle. And that's quite substantial because it's not weight by weight. So 100 grams of chicken breast, 100 grams of chicken breast contains 30 grams of available protein. So are you getting enough protein per meal? Yeah? Okay. So if you're trying to aim for 130 grams per meal, roughly, that's about 100 grams of protein a day. So this is how your day would look like. So breakfast, 3 eggs. Who gets 3 eggs? Who had eggs for breakfast? How many? Yeah. That's okay. It's very interactive. So we've got an audience, and they've got some kids, and we're just debating whether they're getting eggs from their diet. So eggs are an excellent source of protein. So 3 eggs a day for an adult is pretty good to again build muscle. Okay. For lunch, 130 grams of salmon is about 28 grams of protein. Okay. It's not much, isn't it? Okay. And for dinner, 140 grams of chicken is 43 grams of protein. And having this combination will fulfill your protein requirement for healthy muscles and also will keep you full. And a tip is that if you take most of your protein at breakfast, you feel full and there's less chance of snacking. If you actually have 30 grams, if you prioritize 30 grams of protein in the mornings. Okay? Health is really simple if you know what to do. Heck. So we've come to the second strategy. So water is essential. So when I see my clients, I work as a medications review pharmacist in Brisbane. So I visit them in their homes and I check for side effects and interactions. And 90% of my clients, they don't drink enough water. So if you're going to get a blood test and they find a vein and then they say, oh, nothing's coming out, what do they ask you? Did you drink any water, this morning? So water is important for flow, for detoxification. So if you're on vitamins and supplements and medicines, but you don't drink enough water, it might just be expensive okay? Right? So how do we know whether we are dehydrated? So the color of the urine is a great way, it's a good indicator. You might feel very dry in the mouth. And also you get a lot of mood changes. So weakness, confusion, the extreme end is hallucinations and even headaches. Anybody come across any of these symptoms on a day-to-day basis? Yeah. Okay. We're particularly concerned about our older patients because when they're really dry, the thirst mechanism is less sensitive as you grow older, so you can't actually rely on it. And severe dehydration can cause severe organ failure. So what are the strategies to increase hydration? Okay, So when your body is most dehydrated in the morning, you have 2 glasses of water. So I learned from my clients that the best way is visually. So if you keep a 1 liter bottle, you can see how much you've drunk. And we mentioned how coffee and tea and cola, which has got caffeine and a diuretic, it doesn't count. So they've done research on athletes and they put together this beautiful urine chart. Is it okay if we talk about wee and pee and urine today? Okay. So the aim of the game, because everyone's got different water requirements. It depends on where you live. Hot Malaysia or clear Port Macquarie today. Okay, you might need less. And it depends on your activity and your body weight as well. So the aim of the game is pale or light yellow. So number 1 or number 2, you don't want to go clear because that could be too much as well. Okay, any questions about hydration? Health is really simple. Okay. All right. Yes.
2 liters of soft drink.
Yes. So you're getting extra stuff with that soft drink as well, isn't it, Jess? What do you think we're getting from soft drink? Yes.
No.
Yes. That can be a problem because if artificial sweeteners are in soft drinks, they might have less calories and supposedly healthier. However, it might stuff up our cravings because it might not give you enough of that sugar hit that you're after. So you might actually want to drink more sugary drinks after drinking something with artificial sweeteners. And the second thing we're concerned about with artificial sweeteners is how it affects our gut microbiome. So the bacteria that we have in the gut could be affected by artificial sweeteners. So for my patients with type 2 diabetes, I normally do not recommend drinking soft drinks. Does that answer your question? Okay. Alrighty. So sleep. This is an interesting one, isn't it? Because there's so much to do. We all have 24/7, but we hardly get enough shut-eye. So which one are you? Are you Mr. Grumpy? Or are you Sleeping Beauty? Okay. In the audience, we've got 1 Sleeping Beauty and 1 Mr. Grumpy. Okay, so let's see if we can change that. Okay. So these are some of our sleep strategies. We have so much more information for something so essential as sleep. Okay. If we don't actually prioritize sleep, we don't actually get it. And that's the Goldilocks effect as well. There's too little and there's too much. So the aim of the game is about 7 hours. You don't want to go above 9 hours. So they've done studies and they found that if you have 7 hours sleep on average, then you have less heart disease and less cancer. But what I'm most fascinated about sleep is that they've done some research on detoxification. So we have a lymphatic system which pumps out toxins, but we also have something similar around the brain region. It's only when we sleep that this is activated. So if we connect the dots, you do require the protein to build your raw materials so you can have muscles, which is your sugar sink, and it's going to help you prevent diabetes. You need your hydration to keep your blood flow so that all the good things can go to the right places and the right things to get out of your body as well. And the top of the ice cream is your sleep, where at night time you can detoxify all the things you've accumulated from pollution, from food, and the environment. So one strategy that I've been teaching my clients is to switch off your devices about 1 to 2 hours before bed. And why do we want to do that? The blue light that we actually get from devices, and when I say devices, that's your mobile phone, your iPad, and your computers. The blue light disrupts the production of melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. Okay? For some people, we make melatonin maybe 60 to 90 minutes, like the peak amount before bed. So yes, that means switch off devices 60 to 90 minutes before bed. One way to actually activate your biological circadian rhythm is to expose your photoreceptors in your eyes to sunlight as early as possible. So it starts this pacemaker that we automatically have. So it switches on when you get exposed to sunlight, and then 60 to 90 minutes before bed, you actually make your sleep hormone melatonin. What's the ideal bedroom temperature? So it's important to actually help the body get the clues of when is the best time to sleep. And it's about 15 to 20 degrees. Okay? And of course, we've talked about caffeine. So caffeine is a stimulant. It also can make you pee. And as we grow older, it takes longer to clear caffeine. So for most of my clients, 7 hours before bed is a good starting point. All right. So we've talked about all the research that I've accumulated. What about the real world? I'd like to introduce Sam. He's 15 years old and about 98 kilograms. He's very motivated to improve his muscle mass, so he works out 3 times a week. His goal is to shift stubborn weight. He's been struggling so much since he turned 50. His current protein intake is about 70 grams per day, and that's about the average that most people get if you're male, a bit less if you're female. Okay. So he's doing all these workouts, but he's feeling hangry. So he's hungry and he's angry. Okay. So not very happy-chappy. And he's got gut issues like bloating and constipation. So protein is important, isn't it, as your building block? So not surprisingly, when we actually increase his protein target to his body weight, 108 to 144 grams a day, we also tweak his diet. Because when you come to my paid workshop at 2 o'clock today, we're going to be looking at food triggers that actually increases fluid retention. So for Sam, we reduce oxalates, and I'll talk about that a bit more in the later workshop. What it is anti-nutrients that plants make to protect themselves, and it's in health foods like spinach, almonds, peanuts, and dark chocolate. But hey, I'm just a messenger, so don't kill the messenger. Histamine as well. So histamine is released from leftover foods when bacteria degrade any materials and they release histamine. So your fermented foods, your kefir, your probiotics, your yogurt, etc., they can release histamine. And luckily, it's not an all or nothing thing. It's about how much your body can tolerate. So if you take anything away from today's session, be aware of what you're eating, how much your body can tolerate, and it's all about consistently choosing nourishing foods that serve your genetics and predisposition. So once we increased Sam's protein target, he was less hungry, he had less gut issues. So with my clients, we go through a medical symptoms questionnaire. So with Sam, he started off with 54. So the more symptoms you have, the more points you get. And we reduce it to 2 in just 6 weeks. I know it's unbelievable, but it's true. So health again is really simple if you know what to do. Okay? So from my experience, the reasons why people fail is that they don't know their numbers. And that's why all of you should have your questionnaire. And what I recommend is every 3 months, have a look at it and see where you're at. Because you can only control what you measure. So my next workshop, we'll be going through questions 6, 7, and 8. When's the best time to eat? When's the best time to exercise? And we're going to have a deep dive into food addiction. Why is it we crave some foods all the time? Okay, so for those of you in the virtual world, you should be able to access this questionnaire from the feedback part of the sportsfestival.com website. Okay, so this is your invitation to the workshop, where we're going to be looking at when to eat, when to exercise, and food addiction. Okay. For those of you who can't actually join me, at the back of your health questionnaire, there is a bonus resource where you can subscribe to my science-based strategies, and you will receive an e-guide to shift stubborn weight. So the links are on the bonus resources. And because I am serious about finding my tribe of 10,000 individuals who want to do preventive health, you find I'm going to offer all of you here a 30 minutes personalized health check, because there's no one size fits all approach. And so we need to adapt. So I've got 24 strategies, and I'm going to be discussing the next 3. And in the paid workshop, we're going to go through all 9 of the strategies to actually optimize your health to shift stubborn weight. Any questions?
Which will be yes. But it's an strategy that you have, or there is something that actually the diets should be more. Now, some recommended actually to eat ribs and fish as a source of proteins, but vegetarian doesn't eat that. So, what they can do? Yes, the same amount of protein. Is that the same type of protein, or the meats and fish source of something like that? Is that?
So the question is, if you're on a vegetarian diet, how do you get more protein? Because obviously with vegetarians, they doesn't contain all of the essential amino acids that's integral for muscle building. So it is very challenging to get all the amino acids, because meat is most efficient, but it can be done. But my understanding is you have to supplement, and you have to have lots more of, whether it's protein powders and massive amounts of vitamins and supplements to get you over the line, because B12 is a problem. It's one of those ones where you require a bit of animal sort of sources. So it can be done, but it's more challenging, requires lots of commitment and strategy.
Hello, my question one, vegetarian people and they don't eat much protein. How they manage their lifestyle? Well, like again, as I said, I'm eating, and if they're saying the type of protein are the same, or if you've benefited in one, or you've got that company.
And that's a fabulous question, because there's lots of people who are vegetarian, and it's important to make sure that you have enough of the essential amino acids that you can't get from a vegetable diet. It does mean using more supplements, so it could be more resource extensive, and you might have to pay a bit more. But if that's what you want, then that's important to get enough B12 and iron from the right sources.
Thank you.
My name is Chris. I've just got a question. I know that amino acids is important, if you want to get healthy. I used to take some pills, and I don't know how, is there a better way to get that? Then maybe,
That's a great question, Chris. I get asked that all the time. So in terms of protein, obviously, Mother Nature is best, because it's a package where you can't actually replicate a piece of meat, like a piece of chicken breast, right? So whatever you make as a supplement, you have to heat it up. You have to add fillers so that it becomes this little tablet. So there's additional fillers that might not be healthy, and you might not get the full package that you get from a piece of meat. But the other thing as well is, if you can't get it from, it can be really challenging, because I've been tracking my food. It's not easy to get 30 grams of protein per meal. So I've started using some whey protein isolate, but you want to get one that is, has too much additives. It's genetically modified, not GMO, so that there's less pesticides. And you want ones that don't have got starches like gum, etc., So one that I use in Australia is protein supplied to Australia, and it's the natural version, doesn't have the fillers. So just be careful, have a look at the back of the ingredients list. But obviously, if you can have chicken and meat and eggs, that's probably the best way.
Thank you very much, Theresa. I would say thank you for all of your insights. If anybody would like to know more, the Pharmacist Edit is what it is. What's your website?
Yes, it's www.pharmacistedit.com. And if you go there, the first page will take you to, you can put your email address and get the top 5 questions on how to shift stubborn weight.